Good afternoon. I noticed you sent me a message asking me to answer some questions in remembrance of your visit in my primary school 2 years ago. Fire away.
What qualities do you think make a good leader?
Kind.
Giving.
Treats people equally.
Loyal. Do you know any leaders?
Sam Warburton, Wales and Lions captain.
My head teacher's a leader. He's a good one, actually.
Theresa May, who's going to step down probably. Well, she will.
Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead. He's the leader of the zombie apocalypse.
Vladimir Putin.
I'm not going to name names, but some people, just a bit small-minded.
Oh, I forgot the French one.
I know there's David Cameron, who used to be our Prime Minister, but then he stepped down. He could have done more for our country.
There's the one from China.
King Jong-un.
He is very small, he's very persistent, and he knows what he wants.
King Jong-un likes to celebrate his nuclear weapons.
The American president.
Donald Trump.
He's an example of what a leader shouldn't be.
I don't really like him. Actually, that's an understatement. I really, really hate him. I think he's sexist and racist and just horrible. And he looks like he's got a guinea pig on his head. A dead, flat, squashed one.
He's building a wall between Mexico and the USA to stop the Mexicans coming in because he doesn't want an immigrant crisis like we've got in Britain.
I think he's good because he's new.
He looks like an Oompa Loompa and he thinks he's amazing and he's crazy.
Personally, I think it's perfectly normal to let people come in as long as we take care of them and we got everything under control.
Jesus Christ, the Son of God. God, the Creator himself. Queen, the monarch currently ruling over Britain, and Andrew, the vicar at my local church. Great guy.
On June the 8th, 2017, Theresa May has called a general election.
It wasn't necessary, was it? She wanted it to happen.
Do you think we need a government?
Of course. We need a sensible group of individuals making game-changing decisions about our country.
The Queen can't go around saying, "Oh yes, and what do you think of this?" Because the paparazzi would be crazy. So we need some people from the general public who have a voice and a say.
Everyone should do what's right, to be honest. It's just a bunch of nonsense. Just do what's needed instead of arguing all the time.
Do you think it's good to vote?
Yes.
Especially for women, because the suffragettes worked really hard just to get it so that women could vote.
Well, you can't toss a coin because it's too important to toss a coin.
I also think it's really important because if something turns out the way you didn't want it to and you didn't vote, then that's your own fault.
Why would you throw away your vote when you could change the world by putting a tick or a cross on a piece of paper? You could have a hand in making something amazing happen. If you could ask the government one question, what would it be?
That's a tough one. That's a hard one.
Are you telling the truth?
Why are we having so many elections?
What are you hiding?
Why aren't you helping people?
First I'd ask, can we go for dinner tonight? And then I'd ask more questions.
How is life for you? What's shaking?
Why did you make us leave the EU? It was the stupidest thing to do. Why did you make that election? They make sure we have trade and they make sure we have money and everything. We're just going to plummet downhill. We're not going to be able to do anything.
If you could ask the government to change one thing, what would you change?
Make us go back to the EU?
You can't grow mangoes here in the UK.
I think they need to be a bit more open with the public.
They would invest more in sustainable resources.
Education. People in Sweden go to school for 3 hours every day and they don't have any homework and anything, and they manage to get higher scores in tests than we do. So maybe just change the way we're looking at things a bit.
I think there's too much pollution. We're made to protect the world. We aren't made to destroy it.
I think it would probably be that everything is fair and that everyone gets their chance to do what they want to do. So say if there was a school that I could get into and then there was another school, but the one school was really brilliant for me being a doctor and I really wanted to be a doctor, but the other school was not as good, but I couldn't get into that school because it was like a government thing that I couldn't go to it, then that really damaged my chances of being a doctor. In a metaphorical kind of term.
We last met you 2 years ago. Do you think you've changed?
I'm at secondary school.
I've got a lot braver.
I've got a deeper voice.
I think I've changed for the worst and for the better.
I didn't know who the flip David Cameron was.
Now I understand a lot more about politics and a lot more about the kind of bad things that can happen to you in the world. I'm finding out a lot more of what can happen where before I was just a kid.
I'm now a lot more logical in decisions and train of thought. I'm a lot smarter than I was, and I've got an infinitely better sense of style.
When I was younger, I probably had, well, like most young people do, I probably had these huge visions that I could reach for the stars, but I think my views have probably changed.
No life is perfect. In every single life, something has to go wrong, or else nothing would be interesting.
Do you think the world has changed?
The world is always changing because of the
pound's lost its value.
Tectonic plates.
Change in personnel, leadership. David Cameron wanted the England to stay in the European Union, and I would have felt bad because he probably feels like he dumped himself in it because he chose to have the referendum and he lost.
Politics have like literally been turned on their head. You know, Brexit happened and then Donald Trump happened and then now it's like boing.
Who knew that we would have a lady Prime Minister? Not saying that ladies can't be Prime Minister, but we haven't had many. Lady Prime Ministers are good. Theresa May didn't get as much attention as I thought she would. Times have changed, more acceptable now.
I don't think the world itself has changed. I think people have changed because everybody changes every day.
Wars have started and wars have ended.
I think Scotland's going to go for independence again because I'm pretty sure the majority of Scotland is like regretting not voting for being independent. Because now the UK is leaving the EU, Scotland wants to stay, which is a bit annoying.
I don't know.
2 years ago, I don't think the world was as comfortable with being transgender, and now it is. Like before, in 2015, I hadn't heard the word transgender and I didn't know what it meant. And now our school flies the homophobic and transgender flag above its reception building.
Is there anything about the world that worries you?
Not really.
Terrorist attacks.
Global warming.
Climate change.
Donald Trump as president. I mean, seriously.
Artificial intelligence taking over the world.
School is just worrying in itself.
If King Jong-un gets his nuclear weapons, that could start like nuclear warfare and that would just ruin the planet.
Donald Trump, I'm worried that he might start World War III or something. And it's a case of not if, but when. He's just the kind of guy who'd start World War III.
World War III. Everyone keeps talking about World War III. I don't want to die.
It's just, where else are we going to live? We can't exactly live under the sea unless we have a lot of oxygen tanks.
Trump's going to end up ruining the world because he's just so horrible. And if Trump doesn't get there first, global warming will.
I don't really tend to worry about industrial problems or things happening in the world because if it happened, I can't really control that. I more worry about what I'm doing, like what my impact is and stuff like that.
If we came back to visit you in 5 years' time, how would you like the world to be?
A happy place and, well, just a lot better.
With no violence.
Well, not a lot better, just a bit better than it is right now.
Cancer-free, possibly?
Environmentally friendly place. A lot of people can't breathe properly.
Well, we need the world to be healthy, so that we're healthy.
Probably Barack Obama's back. And I wouldn't like it if the Queen died, because that would just make me sad.
Not submerged in water. Terrorism abolished. Homelessness abolished. And hunger abolished. And improved eco-friendly technology.
Probably just, I don't know, peaceful. Like everyone just gets on. That's probably not going to happen. But I'm sure if people just sat round a table and just discussed it, then I'm sure they could come to some kind of an agreement, because most people can do that.
People stop turning to crimes and start turning to counselling instead, maybe. That'd be good. And driverless cars would be cool. Everyone's socially accepted, no matter who they are. Everyone's the same species. Everyone's human. We all want to be happy on this world.